It's about time Manchester United fans got behind their coach, got behind their manager, and backed this 110%. And I tell you now, it doesn't matter whether you rate Ruben or not. It doesn't matter if you want a new head coach. The position is what you and I, as Man United fans, need to protect. Drop the player FC nonsense, and let's get back to letting the powers that be actually be in control of this team. Now, look, I know this is going to upset a fair few people. I know they're going to be upset if they're Garnacho fanboys or if they feel that Ruben Amorim needs to be sacked as manager. And to a degree, I understand it. But my message is very clear, very simple, and very straightforward. Ever since Manchester United's ownership, backed by a big percentage of our fans, started the erosion of power of the manager or head coach, I don't really care about the title, the person who coaches and picks the first team, maybe that's what we've got to call them. Ever since we started to erode the power and control over that first team squad, Man United have been on the road to ruin. Recruitment has been poor, yes. The debt, the way that a club has operated under the Glazers, all of that has been bad and played a part. But one of the biggest components was the eroding of that power. Players deciding when they can play. A player being dropped, running straight to the mainstream media via their agent or themselves to drop a hit piece on that coach. Oh, it's like having a PE teacher in charge. Running out and trying to find a new club at the first sign of adversity. Or if 2 or 3 players were getting bad press. I remember this happening a lot when Pogba was here. Pogba would be getting a lot of stick that he didn't deserve. And then you'd have players that would be doing some amazingly wonderful PR. So, oh, it's not me that's a bad egg. I'm working really hard. It's others. Don't look at me. It's other people. This club has been a disgrace for a long time. And there's a message that I've pushed. I pushed this under Jose. I pushed it under Ollie, Ralph Ragnick, Ten Hag, and I'm doing the same now. It is not manager specific. And if you're looking at the specific manager, you're way off, you're wrong. And that's a problem with the club. That position has to hold some weight. Even if you're making a mistake, you've still got to be able to yield that power. And this brings us to the situation with Garnacho and Ruben Amorim. And it was well publicized across Wednesday and Thursday last week that Garnacho's time at Man United was going to come to an end. We saw his brother put out the tweet. He was interviewed afterwards, and everything was very much me. What I should have got. Why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get that? Garnacho is a player that when he came through the academy, I was excited about. He scored some fantastic goals for us. He's helped us win a number of games, and I'm grateful for that. But he's also a player that on multiple occasions has thrown fuel over the fire that wasn't needed. Man United are already in a bad enough situation as it is. We don't need to make it worse. And even this story that we're about to go into coming out, I would put a large sum of money, a large proportion of what I own on Garnacho and his team being the leak behind this information to try and make Ruben Amorim look bad, to essentially, whether it's a parting gift to try and make his job harder or a last-ditched attempt to stay at the football club and for the fans to completely turn on Ruben Amorim, the leaks are crazy. And this man has retweeted and liked posts, his family have spoken to the media far too regularly. And for me, this is something that has to stop if Man United want to get back to the top. And I say it again, I don't care if you hate Ruben Amorim, free at the back. I don't care about that. If we don't allow whoever is, and this is why I don't care, if you don't allow the person that's in charge to be in charge and have this power, these players as a collective, get rid of Ruben, we'll bring in the man you love. Oh, I love the 4-3-3. Oh, I love the way we're playing. Some of them will throw him under the bus because you've allowed that precedent, that power to exist. Think long-term, not short-term with this. It is now emerged that Ruben Amorim's exact message to Alejandro Garnacho in front of the Manchester United players was, you better pray you can find another club to sign you. You better pray that you can find another club to sign you.
Oh my God!
This is a massive message. Now, it may be slightly different from that, but I get the sense that this is very true. I get the sense that this is very, very true indeed. And look, what that basically means is, well, I ain't going to play you. I've got no interest at this particular moment of playing you next season. You better pray you find another club, as you're going to be sitting in the stands. I'm not going to have it. Ruben's had an issue with elements of Garnacho since day one. I think the only reason we didn't sell him in January or loan him in January is because the club couldn't find adequate replacements. You look at who we're trying to sign now, the Mbomos and the Cunhas. These players were pretty much taken off the clubs by their market, taken off the market by their clubs, unless we wanted to pay exorbitant amounts of money over the odds, which I'm glad we didn't. I wouldn't have wanted to have paid 80 million for Cunha when we're getting him for 63. I wouldn't have wanted to have paid 70 million for Mbomo when we're now potentially getting him at 50, because when you add those two signings up, that's an additional player we can't sign now. We've got to stop this stupid notion of it's not my money, I don't care how much we spend. Well, there's a limited budget. You should care every time we spend money, whether it's overvalue or undervalue. We've got to start getting that right as fans as well. This stupid narrative that someone somewhere created of, oh, it's not my money, I don't care how much of it we waste. What kind of logic is that? There is not a bottomless bucket of money. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on another tangent. This, for me, it's going to hurt some people. Some people are going to think about themselves and go, oh, if my boss spoke to me like that, I'd cry. There are some people that are bad at their jobs who get told off all the time. They're going to be angry with this. You're going to get those naughty kids at school that don't respect authority, always kicking off with their teachers. They're going to hate this. You're going to have those adults, even those younger people, those adults, different ages, who's had strict parents who are going to cry their eyes out tonight reading this and go mad. Oh, Ruben's horrible. But he isn't horrible. We need a bit of this at Man United. The only way this goes wrong is if the football club, and I mean by that the board, do not back the manager. So whenever I speak about you've got to back a coach, you've got to back a manager, that doesn't mean spend exorbitant amounts of money only. It's buying the right profiles, ensuring he has the correct power. And you know what? Even if the two entities go at it and the manager's slightly wrong, publicly and internally with his subordinates, he has to be backed. As soon as you take that power away, it's finished. It's over. Like The Sopranos, it's done. And the problem is we need to buck that trend. So for me, look, they're harsh words. There's clearly been multiple, for me, there's been multiple occasions that has led to this. Now, Ruben hasn't said this publicly. Someone from that dressing room has leaked it. So this is very different to when I defended Sancho when Ten Hag started speaking publicly. I prefer it to be behind closed doors. But equally, even in that moment, I said there comes a point where we as fans ask for the truth, where a manager may be forced into telling us all why someone has been dropped, why they're not in the first team, or why they're being sold. But by and large, Ruben has kept this very, very private. I'm betting it being Garnacho that's leaked it, if not somebody else. And by the way, the club, if it isn't Garnacho, they've got to find out who that leak is. They have got to go as well. These things are far more important in relation to getting Man United back to the top than the tactics and the formation. The player power issues at this club, and they vary from player to player, but the collective mentality of this team, not turning up in games against smaller sides, bottling so many big moments, especially when you're not the underdog. Players talking to the press, looking for new clubs at the first sign of trouble. The collective consistently trying to throw coaches under the bus. This behavior, by and large, has been worse for us than Jose's tactics, Ollie's sort of PE teacher approach, Ten Hag's island in the middle of our midfield, all the nasty things that Ralph Rangnick said, and the three at the back formation from Ruben. As much as some people don't like those things, that player element has been the biggest problem. That player power, you can get away with it for a while if you have a core group that is as amazing, as brilliant, and wins in the same way that that core of Chelsea did. They definitely threw a few managers under buses, but they still went and won and delivered. We are kind of moving with that attitude, that arrogance, but we're not backing it up with Premier League trophies and Champions Leagues and consistent league campaigns. So for me, I've seen a lot of people say, yes, that's my manager. And I'm backing it. Not because I'm a Ruben Amorim fanboy, not because I'm guaranteeing we get back to the top with him at the helm. But for me, we have got to start laying the law down to these players. The manager or head coach, the sporting director, the technical director, those people and above, they hold the power. The football players are important and we have to respect them as best we can, but they can no longer rule the roost at our club. They don't run the show at City. They don't run the show at Liverpool. They don't run the show at Arsenal. Bayern Munich's players don't run the show there. And it got so on and so forth. Well-run clubs, by and large, across the board, there are some anomalies, don't run the show. Especially, I've used the Chelsea examples, you can't get me on that, especially when you ain't winning. Especially when you're not at the peak of your powers. If you love Manchester United Football Club, you'll stand by the manager. You'll stand by the head coach on this, not for him individually, but for the position that he holds at the football club. We need to bring power, authority, and respect back to that role. And one of the ways we're going to do that is by some tough fucking love. Hit the like and the share button. Make sure you're subscribing. Look forward to reading your comments. I'll see you all again soon. Peace.